It's my joy now to actually introduce our guest speaker. I think Kaz thought she might have got away without any embarrassing photos. That's not the case. So Kaz was here between 1984 and 1990. Now in third form she won the Old Girls Association Prize for English, and in fifth form, that's year 11, a General Excellence Prize. Now this slide shows the first 11 hockey in 1990, and yes, you guessed it, she's first on the left in the back row. Kaz was in the first 15 hockey and gained a high achievement certificate in hockey in 1990. Here she is on attack in the next photo against King's College in 1990. Also, the next one shows her promoting lip sync, in 1990. She's actually in the middle. In her final year, she was also a peer group leader. She coordinated Word for Marsden and was on the Transport and Magazine committees. From her report from Miss Button, who's here today, her report that year said, hold your breath, here we go, Cassandra is a very able student, well motivated, well organised and determined to succeed. Cassandra should have a bright academic future ahead of her, and I wish her well as she leaves Marsden. There you go. It is my great pleasure to introduce Cassandra Treadwell.
That was a bit nerve-wracking. That could have gone either way, so thank you. It's so nice to be here. I haven't been at an Old Girls Assembly before because I've been overseas, but it's lovely to be back in this hall. And so I was asked to speak today a little bit about my life, but I'm actually not sure that's very interesting, and I'm much more interested in yours, to be honest. But to compromise, I thought I would just briefly summarise my last 42 years, and then let you know the things that I have learned that you might find helpful. So, I grew up in Karori and went to Karori Normal School. I'm not going to tell you which one I am there. Many years ago, I actually Googled this because I couldn't find photos myself, and I Googled it and this came up, which was surprising. So there you go, what you can find on Google. I think at Karori Normal School I was probably the first and only student to end up in hospital after running into a lamppost as I ran uphill on our 2K morning runs. Incredibly embarrassing. I haven't shared that with anyone before, so I thought I'd do it to all of you. Again, excuse me for my back to you. I then came to Marsden in year 7, what we then called Form 1, and I've got so many great memories of being here, and I made lifelong friends, which I'm sure you can all relate to. I still remember the words of wisdom of my beautiful art teacher, Mrs. Hawke, Mrs. Collins, my English teacher, and the, I'll call them debates that I had with my history teacher, Mrs. Jones. By year 12, the wanderlust in me had well and truly set in, and I took myself off to Argentina for a 1-year exchange. I loved it over there. The year gave me my first real experience of poverty, and it actually planted the humanitarian seed in me. It also taught me that life begins when you step outside your comfort zone. I can't encourage you enough to do that. I went to Canterbury University back here in New Zealand. I studied law and political science. I took myself way too seriously at university. I studied too hard, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. And I also spent any free time I had training for the Coast to Coast, which is a multi-sport event down there. I learned pretty quickly that balance is a good thing. I'd encourage you to find it fast and apply it to your daily life as soon as possible. There's no such thing as perfect in everything. I went to Outward Bound at the start of my 2nd year at university, and I absolutely loved it. For those that don't know Outward Bound, it's an outdoor pursuits, it's a course, it's generally a 3-week course. They make you do something called a solo experience, 3 days and 3 nights in the bush, completely alone. They drop you off at night, about 10 metres off in the water. You make yourself to the beach. You have nothing but a very small amount of food for those 3 days, and you've allowed a pen and a piece of paper and a sleeping bag. No distracting books, no music, no phones, not that we had them back then. I had been absolutely dreading it, I have to admit, but I ended up absolutely loving it. It was amazing just to be able to spend that much uninterrupted time alone, reflecting on what made me happy and what I therefore wanted to do with my life. The night of my last university exam, I bought a one-way ticket and jumped on a plane to Nepal in the Himalayas to climb over there. I was following my passion to be in the outdoors, and I love adventure, so I spent the next 3 years travelling around India, Nepal and Europe. I worked intermittently to fund my travels, and I spent 1 year at King's College at London University, and I did my Masters in Medical Law and Ethics. And I loved that. It was half of us were lawyers and half of us were doctors, and we would discuss and debate things like euthanasia and new birth technologies, and really getting a complete understanding of what life's like on the ground in hospitals. Eventually I came back to New Zealand. I think all of us that travel overseas tend to come back to New Zealand. We're Kiwis at heart, especially this weekend. And I worked for 2 years at Russell McVeigh, a large sort of corporate law firm here in Wellington, and I then went on to Crown Law and finally went to Capital and Coast Health, which looks after 5 hospitals in this region as their medico-legal counsel. And then I got married and I had 4 children, and this is all starting to make me feel very old indeed. And so now I run So They Can. And So They Can is a charity, and we focus on using education to break the poverty cycle in very poor countries. So They Can was established 6 years ago, and it's based in Africa. Over the last 6 years, we've raised over $10 million. We support 6,000 children and their communities in Kenya and Tanzania through a primary school. We have a children's home over there, a medical clinic. We have what's called a microfinance business school. We educate women, generally the mothers of our students at the school. We put them through a basic business course, and then we give them a $150 loan, and they start up their own business, and we mentor them through that business, and they pay that money back, with that $150 back within 12 months. And it's incredibly exciting to watch how empowering that is for these women on the ground in Africa that are actually the soul of Africa but don't get recognised as such. We also have education collaboratives in Tanzania with 6 schools and a teachers training college. So I could talk forever about our communities in Africa and all that they have taught me, but in summary, Africa has been a wonderful classroom for me. The people in Africa teach me to be grateful for what I've got rather than complaining about what we haven't got, which is, I think, quite a common developed world affliction, certainly something I fall into, focusing on what I haven't got, not what I have got. They teach me to live in and embrace and celebrate the present moment, and to have the courage and the determination to choose happiness, because it is a choice, and just to laugh a bit more. Most importantly, my work in Africa has taught me that far from being a one-way street, charity is very much a reciprocal exchange of emotional and material wealth. So there is nothing worse than someone telling you what you should do, especially when you haven't asked them to. But at risk of getting close to that, I'd just like to respectfully suggest you think about 3 things that are important to me: passion, time, and mistakes. Passion. Invest your time in finding out what you are passionate about. Put aside a whole day, or even better, a whole weekend. Get rid of all the distractions. Get rid of your iPhones, your Snapchat, your Messenger, and just ask yourself what you love doing. What section of the bookshop do you gravitate towards when you walk into one? What do you get lost in? What are you doing when you lose all sense of time? And most importantly, what just makes your heart glow? Put yourself on a self-imposed solo now, and ideally every year moving forward, to check in with what you are doing and whether that is aligned with your core values and whether you're truly happy. Don't be afraid to change your direction, if not. Secondly, time. I've recently returned a few weeks ago from a great trip to Kenya and Tanzania, where I checked in on our projects and spent time with our communities on the ground. As always, they grounded me. They reminded me to stop and take the time to be with people. They taught me to understand why I've always cringed when I hear myself saying, "Oh, I'm too busy, I just don't have enough time." It's because this presumes that time is not ours to give away. But it is. There is so much in our lives that we don't control, but time is just not one of them. How we spend our time is completely up to us. We do control that. Ken, one of our amazing cooks in our kitchen over in Kenya, Aberdeen Rangers Primary School. He cooks 2 meals a day for our 840 students, and he taught me this about time. He is a bright, capable and energetic man. At just 24, he's already had a very hard life. His father was murdered when he was just 2, and his mother died suddenly when he was 10 years old, leaving him alone. He is very materially poor. And I'm pretty sure that he could get a job that pays slightly more than his cook's salary at our school. Yet he told me that he chooses to spend his time from 4 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon every day cooking for our 840 students because he gets so much personal pleasure out of nourishing them. He says to me, Cass, it's my job to nourish our students and ensure they get fed twice a day. Ken owns his time and he chooses how he spends it. The people I meet in Africa, they value time over possessions. They tell me we have very little material wealth, but what we do have, we will give away to save another's life or to heal another's broken heart, because it is people, not possessions, that make us happy. So please, don't be fooled by society's grandiose self-importance of I'm too busy, I have no time. Time is one of the few things you do control. It's yours to give away, so do so wisely and be ever mindful of your passions. And never forget the next chapters of your life have not yet been written. So take the time to be your own author. Finally, mistakes. Don't be afraid of them. Take lots and lots of risks and embrace the opportunities to make the mistakes those risks will bring. Just invest in your mistakes by making sure that you analyse and learn from them. I made, and sometimes still do make, the mistake of spending far too much time worrying about stupid things like my weight or what I look like. And I did this a lot at school as well. Analysing that mistake, I realise now that such thinking is not where I want to invest my time. Now, when I feel myself falling into that void again, I snap out of it by taking myself back to Africa, to the woman I meet over there. Every time I go to Africa, these women, they come running up to me and give me a big hug, and in a very loud voice, literally very loud so the whole community can hear, they go, Cassandra, you've grown fat and beautiful. To them, weight is a sign of an abundant life. It's all about perspective. So, while you think about what you want your life to look like, what you want it to be filled with, don't worry too much about long-term plans. Something always tends to get in the way of those anyway. Instead, I would like to suggest that you plan to just follow your passion, invest your time wisely, and just throw yourself at life, relishing the mistakes you make and learn from along the way. And live every day according to Gandhi's beautiful wisdom. Be truthful, be gentle, and be fearless. Thank you.
Ms. Treadwell, just on behalf of the school, thank you for talking to us today. I think everyone would agree your work is absolutely amazing, and we're so lucky to be reminded of what we can actually do if we do step out of our comfort zone. So thank you.